Hello, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and welcome to today's stamping and creating. So things are not quite as I had planned today. Just bear with me for 2 ticks whilst I double check that this is going out live. I had planned to hopefully share my pre-order from the new annual catalogue, but sadly it's not arrived yet. I was like holding on and holding on and holding on, but no. So what I thought I would do as an alternative was to do the Stampin' Up Simple Stamping, what do you call it? Oh crumbs, challenge, that's it. So every month Stampin' Up set a simple stamping challenge. And this month it's to use stamps, ink and paper, and to also include it as a thank you card, and also to include favourite retiring. Now, my favourite retiring is actually the Petal Park stamp set, but I used that last week and I've used it in a couple of projects already. So my second favourite retiring is the Dainty Delight. So I thought I would share some simple stamping today with the Dainty Delight stamp set. So it's a clean stamp set, it's retiring, and in fact there's 50% off the stamp, and there's also 50% off the coordinating dies. So you can now get the stamp set for £12 and the dies for £17 in the last chance products that you can find on my online store, which is oakvillecrafts.stampinup.net. So I'm going to use, say, the Dainty Delight stamp set, and the idea is to keep it as simple as possible. So that's the theory. I dug out the Meandering Meadows 6x6 paper. Now this is an online exclusive. And I'm going to use actually the back of some of the paper because I want to stamp directly onto the paper. So I've chosen 2 because I can't make up my mind as to which one I want to use. So these are the 2 that I've chosen. They need to be sort of fairly light so that you can actually stamp on them. There's no point in stamping on a piece of double-sided paper that has a really dark background. So these 2 would be good, whereas something like this, it would just get completely lost. You wouldn't see any of it. So if you want to stamp directly onto paper, that's it's a nice simple technique. You just need to find some paper that that has a light enough background to be able to actually stamp direct onto it. Now that's that. I'm hoping I've got my Memento, yeah, which is good. Now I don't know which of these 2 that I'm going to use, so I grabbed some cardstock as well. So for this piece I've grabbed some pumpkin pie, some Daffodil Delight and some basic white. So that's one option. And then the other option, I've grabbed some Melon Mambo, Fresh Freesia and basic white. And then again we've got the paper. So the paper comes in a 6x6, so it means that when you are cutting for a card front, you are going to have a piece that will be left over, but that's okay because you can use that to decorate your envelope and the inside of your card, so nothing or hardly anything will go to waste. But you know what, I'm drawn to this one today, so I'm going to stick with that. I might make the other one if we have time, but let's see how things go. So I'm going to need a card base, and I'm going to use the darker of the 2 colours, so that's the pumpkin pie. And I'm going to cut my A4 sheet in half on the long side. So that means cutting it at 14.9 or 14.85. like so. And then I'm going to turn it, on the long side I'm going to score it at 10.5 centimetres. So that makes basic card front, or card like that. So that's that. And then I'm going to add a panel of the Daffodil Delight. So I need that to be 14.4 centimetres, because I always go down, oops, by increments of 0.5 centimetre. So 14.4 by 10. Like so. So that will sit on there. Now we could, or I could, just simply add the paper onto that. Or I could add some basic white and then the paper. But I think if we're going to have so many layers if I go basic white. So I'm just simply going to cut another layer. So we had 10.5, that's 10. So I want to go 9.5. And then it needs to be, so this is 14.9, 14.4, so this needs to be 13.9. So that's that. And I may as well cut my piece of basic white to go on the inside now. And again, I need a piece that's going to be 14.4 by 10. So that's all the cutting for the moment. And now we've got bits of stamping to do. So let's move this lot out the way. So the idea is that I am going to stamp directly onto this front, and then I'm going to colour them. Now you could use your ink pads and a watercolour brush. You can use your Stampin' blends. You can use your Stampin' markers. This image here, the actual flowers and things are quite small. So if I pick this one out, because that's the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to put it sort of here. I need a nice big block for that. No, it fit on there, no, but it will fit if I put it on diagonally. So that's what I'm going to do. So that will fit quite nicely here. And then we've also got a thank you sentiment in here, which is here. So I've got that. Now I haven't decided yet as to whether or not I want to use the whole of the sentiment or celebrate you. That'll be why it was a bit bigger than I thought it was. So the thank you must be this one. So it says thank you for your kindness. Let's put it on this block. I think it might be a bit easier. So I'm just turning my block, putting my block down, and then I'm simply going to, this is where I actually need to stand up. I'm going to place this on the block, and because I can see through it, I'm going to place the sentiment so that this is lining up with a line that I can see through. And then in theory, when I stamp this, it should then just be, it should be in the right place. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment first, because the last thing I need is to stamp the flowers, spend all my time colouring it, and then stamp the sentiment, and it's all like wonky donkey. So it's not so much necessarily a good idea. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment. I'm going to use pumpkin pie. I'm going to use this just to see how it is. Maybe it's on the wonk. Well, the thank you's okay. All right. So So I'm going to put this on the bottom, or towards the bottom anyway. And line that up with the paper. And hope that's okay. Yep, good. Right, I'm happy with that. So now I've got a sentiment. And then I need to stamp the image. Now I could move it up so that it's starting here on a slight slant. And I'm going to use the Memento ink, so it's Tuxedo Black, because I am going to use my Stampin' blends. So I need to have an ink pad that is water-based rather than alcohol-based. I'm going to go for it here, I think. We'll see. Okay, so you could actually just leave it like that, which is incredibly simple stamping, because then you've just got an image and you've got a sentiment and you've got a nice background. But I am going to go and colour. So I've got my Stampin' blends and I grabbed various colours that are designed to go with the paper. So the nice thing about the Stampin' Up paper is that, not everybody knows this, usually on the back of the pack there will be a sheet that tells you all the colours that coordinate with the actual paper, the designs on the paper. So this is the Meandering Meadows that I'm using, and as you can see there is a really long list of things here, and I'm not going to sit there and read it out. Something has decided to switch off yet again. You've got to love this. Let's just go to see here. I'm hoping it's still recording. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Oh dear, I always thought that this would all be sorted once this was once I had the new internet, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. But hey, right, so I've got this is Granny Apple Green, and I've got both the light and the dark. So I'm going to use that to colour the leaves, and I'll start with the light, just simply because I'll use the darker bit for another bit of leaf. Or I'm just going to quickly, and as you see, because the background paper is quite light in colour, you actually do get a really nice effect with the leaves. You lose that background colour. I don't want to do the flowers. So just literally quickly. That could be anything, that one. Sometimes you look at these and you think, I don't know if that's a leaf or a bit of a flower, but hey. I'm going to go over very quickly with some other darker Granny Apple Green as well, just to give, I think my blend's running out. Can't do that on me. Let's go with the thin tip again. And I'm not going to completely colour every leaf with the darker colour, just going to add touches of colour, of extra, just to give it some extra depth. Otherwise I'll be here all day, and I'm sure everyone's got things to do. So thank you to everybody who has placed an order with me so far for their Stampin' Up goodies. So the retirement, the last chance list is now live, so it does mean that things are going. So this is pumpkin pie. And you have to remember that the last chance products, although it says that they're available to the 30th of April, they are in fact on a well stocks supplies last. So if they run out in the warehouse with them, then they will not be sending any further shipments from the US, because obviously it's really not much point in doing that, because by the time it does arrive, the new catalogue will be here. And I have found that actually sometimes just putting little dots of colour on the flowers is enough just to give that extra accent. So that's that, and I think that's pretty much done. So what do you think? So that's my, hopefully you can see it. So that is simply going to get put onto the Daffodil Delight and then onto the card front like so. And then we've also got the inside to do as well. So glue. I need some glue. So this is just simply going to get put directly onto the Daffodil Delight panel and then directly onto the card front. I could add this using dimensionals, but the idea is to keep it simple, so that's what I'm going to do. Like so. That's going to go on here. Like that. Now I've got my piece of basic white to go on the inside of the card, so I'm going to stamp the flower again, or at least stamp just part of the flower. I don't want it to be too imposing on there, so I'm just going to stick it in the corner. Like so, and then again I'm going to colour it. Need to do it before I stick it into the actual card. Because it will go through. And similarly, if you are colouring an envelope front, or even the back for that matter, you need to make sure that you put something inside to protect the other side of the envelope so that it doesn't leak through. Although, I mean, these are such small amounts that really probably not going to make too much of a difference. But let's see, you can, it's just starting to. If I had a really large solid image to go over, then that would definitely leak through and it would be a bit of a disaster. You're having sort of funny bits showing through on the back. So, and then we had the pail. Again, just simply colouring, not being too fussed, because being alcohol it will bleed a little bit, and I quite like having it not quite to the edge in places. It just gives it again a little bit more added texture. I think that's it for that one. Again, I'm going to glue that inside. So that's the inside of my card. So all the cutting instructions for this card you will find in the description. I will be adding this video to YouTube, so you will find it in the description on the YouTube video. Then have details of what sizes and what colours I used and things like that. And then there will also be a supply list. So this is my simple stamping card, as I said. So I've used the Winter Meadow paper as my background. Another way of getting a similar look would be to use a blending brush and using a variety of different coloured inks, but using the paper just makes it so much simpler, and you just cut it to whatever size that you want. And I used my memento to stamp the image, pumpkin pie for the sentiment, and then used my Stampin' blends to colour in the image to match and coordinate with the card base, and also another little image on the inside. And then to finish off, I will add some, so these are the adhesive backed dragonflies and birds, and again this is an online exclusive. Probably not appropriate to put birds on, because I think otherwise this will give the impression of it being an absolutely huge plant, which obviously it's not. So I think I'm just going to put some dragonflies on, just a couple, maybe 3 even. And all the dragonflies are the same size, so I'll just put them on here. I think, yeah, I have 3 on, I think. There we go. So that is my finished simple stamping card. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing that. The photo will go up on Facebook, and I said the video will go up on YouTube. If you would like to shop for this, then please pop over to oakvillcrafts.stampinupnet and click on the Shop Now button, which you'll find at the top right hand side. And then you can then drill down and go to Last Chance Products to find the this. So it is while stocks last, as I said. It's half price, so an absolute bargain at £12. You can get the coordinating dies. I'll give you a quick peek of those. And again, they are 50% off. So these are the dies, and so there's so much you can do with them. But this doesn't qualify as simple stamping, which is why I've not used them today. So those are the dies, and I'll be back next week. Next week is a card and a cuppa. So I'll be back Wednesday to share the 3 cards that got taken to Home Grange, and then I will be making a 4th card live using the same kit that everybody received. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching, and take care, and see you soon. Bye.